Oh,
might be
great.
my
Now we
favorite
have to
song of
pay
all
the
time.
mechanical license for Knock on Wood because Len was singing it.
Baby!
Just making it worse.
I just said
Since
baby.
permanent.
Hey, man, I just said baby.
Fair use. All right. Here we go. Did I change this to... I never did. There we go. Hey, I should sound better now.
Oh,
Hey,
crap.
Wow.
Yeah. I
Hey,
forgot to turn on studio mode. Okay, here we go.
The Daily Tech News Show with Tom Merritt is brought to you by wonderful, awesome patrons like you. If that's not you, join this party now. Go to patreon.com/acedetect and give a little, cause it helps a lot. That's patreon.com/ACEDTECT. Hit the button, Tom.
This is the Daily Tech News for Friday, May 22nd, 2015. I'm Tom Merritt. Joining me, Justin Robert Young, co-host of Night Attack, Weird Things, The Jury More podcast, and more. And live from Portlandia.
Indeed. Apparently, listen, the dream of the 1990s is alive in Portland.
Is it still alive?
Yeah, including the dial-up speed internet. So it is it's a beautiful city with really cruddy internet.
Yeah, great public transit, horrible transit protocol.
Indeed.
At least where Justin is. Also joining us, Len Peralta is back to illustrate the show. What you got cooking in your brain there, Len?
Put a bird on it, Tom. I am... Portlandia reference.
I got it. It took me a second, but I got it.
I'm excited. We have game 2 versus the Atlanta Hawks tonight and the Cleveland Cavaliers, so we'll see how that goes.
All right.
And I'm going to draw the show, which is also very exciting.
Well, we've got, which is kind of, it's not the Cavs. Believe, trust me, I understand.
Exactly.
Well, we've got a Warriors, someone who lives near where the Warriors play in Justin Robert Young. We have Cavs fans, so maybe we can have a little friendly matchup in the NBA.
Let's not skip ahead. I think the Hawks,
maybe.
All the Atlanta fans.
No disrespect to our Rockets fans out there either.
Oh, we can disrespect them. That's fine. No,
meanwhile, if you're still listening, let's get into the headlines. Hey, happy birthday, Puckman. By the way, a public service announcement noted on my Twitter feed today that Puckman was introduced in Japan on this day 35 years ago, and then the name was later changed to Pac-Man in October when it came to the United States. And then Scott Johnson went and photoshopped a screenshot of that to say a dirty word. Just so you know, the original did not say the dirty word. That was just Scott being funny. It's pretty funny.
Was it?
What?
Was it funny? Come on.
It's funny to Scott.
Typical Mormon humor.
Hey, that Apple TV service that Apple never announced is coming. It's actually got delayed again. Recode reports that according to industry executives familiar with Apple's plans, Apple wants to include live local TV programming in its Apple service, and that's a tall order. Even CBS and ABC can't get the rights to stream all of their local channels in their various apps. All this means that all those rumors that Apple would announce the service at WWDC and launch it in the autumn are likely to be wrong. So, Justin, the thing they didn't announce is still not going to come anytime soon, and those rumors were wrong, but it wasn't their fault.
You gotta wonder, though, I mean, especially with these stories, the only thing I ever think of is where are the sources coming from? Very obviously, these sources are coming from the networks that are part of the negotiations, and really the news peg is that the negotiations have broken down or there was an inability to do it. It seems odd that this particular element of it is now like breaking news when, like you mentioned, the networks can't get their affiliates in line to sell it themselves. So did Apple think that they had cracked that code? Did they just think that, oh, no, we're Apple. Of course, we can make it happen.
Yeah, it could be typical Apple. We're not going to put a product out till it's perfect, and we think it's perfect once we have all the local affiliates on board. So even if that takes 5 years, by golly, let's go get the local affiliates before we put that out. It could be that. Who knows?
There's a new kind of car cruising the streets of Pittsburgh. Actually, it's a Ford. But the Pittsburgh Business Times took a photograph of the car, which has the words Uber Advanced Technology Center on the side and a box of electronic components on the roof. The Verge reached out to Uber, which said that the Ford is not a self-driving car, but rather, quote, part of our early research regarding mapping, safety, and autonomy systems. As you may recall, Uber has set up a research center in a strategic partnership with Ali Spagnola's alma mater, Carnegie Mellon University. In less exciting news, the Pirates have already lost 6 games in extra innings this year, making their record 18-22, an unsustainable trend.
Which one, the Uber autonomy research or the Pirates?
They can't keep losing every extra innings games. Come on.
Welcome to Sports Talk Friday.
To start winning them.
Yeah, I think it's not a surprise that Uber is out there doing this. They've made no secret that they would like to get rid of all the human drivers and have self-driving cars. So
which is really
this
hilarious.
Is the first step.
Humans are kind of their entire business model.
Yeah.
Currently.
9 to 5 Mac, which is actually really good about finding out things before they are ready to be announced by Apple, has rounded up everything it knows about iOS 9 and OS 10 10.11 ahead of next month's WWDC announcements. A lot of it you've heard before, but it's a good article. The big takeaway is that both OS updates are apparently going to focus on quality, reliability, and stability improvements. That means fewer bugs, but also fewer splashy features. Although one feature called rootless would restrict access to certain files even from admin level users as a measure to combat malware.
To me, the most legitimate complaint about the post-Steve Jobs Apple era has been the fact that they have sacrificed reliability of their updates and their OS in favor of different splashy features. So it is very, very heartening as an iOS user to see a return to form there.
Yeah, I was having a problem with my Apple Watch earlier where an app just wouldn't launch. It's an app when I go running all the time, but,
For the record, delivered to my Oakland residence, my Apple Watch has finally arrived and will be on the wrist of my darling fiance as she flies to Portland to meet me for our.
That's
weekend.
very sweet.
It is. After she taunts me on Twitter, which is what she's doing currently. Ars Technica reports Australian security researcher Troy Hunt reported Friday morning that data from subscribers to adultfriendfinder.com is available on 15 spreadsheets posted on a site protected by Tor privacy. The data includes 3.8 million addresses as well as age, zip code, sexual orientation, and even things like whether the user is seeking an extramarital affair. These spreadsheets include data for current, former, and even deleted accounts. Free tip to reporters. Cross-reference with every senator and congressman. Local or national.
I think the most interesting part of this story to me is that whoever leaked this apparently was upset that this company owed a friend, they said when they posted it, money for something. And so they were posting this in revenge. And they went so far as to obfuscate credit card numbers. They did not post credit card numbers. Now, they say they obfuscated them. Maybe they just didn't get the credit card numbers because they're usually stored separately. But they went ahead and posted all this other information, so they didn't feel too bad.
I think we might get a major story out of this. This is the kind of stuff that.
Do you think senators and congressmen and heads of state sign up for what is it called? AdultFriendFinder.com under their own names?
Considering how many sign up on Grindr and Tinder and send really weird, gross messages and post their own pictures.
All right.
Yes, I do.
PC World reports Firefox will begin testing advertising tiles based on a user's browser history. But before you freak out, it's not quite as bad as you think. The ads are going to be called suggested tiles. They'll appear on a user's new tab page. There's already a couple of tabs that are advertising minded, but they don't look into your history. What's happening here is ads will display based on the browser's history, but that decision will be made on the user's machine. So you're not sharing any of that information with Firefox. It's all code that executes locally. Only a minimal amount of data leaves the browser. Basically things like whether you clicked on something or not. That's it. You can try it out by getting a build from Firefox's beta channel next week. It's been in the nightly test builds since last summer, so you could get it that way already as well if you wanted to try it out. And to start with, Mozilla says we're just going to put house ads in there for other Mozilla products, and you can opt out of it. You can go turn it off in your settings if you want.
Very interesting that that's where they want to turn on a different revenue stream because it's curious to see where in the next 10, 15 years where the actual cash comes in on that product.
It is an interesting dance that Mozilla is doing, trying to come up with sort of diversified revenue schemes, right? They switched from Google to Yahoo. They're trying to come up with these advertising tiles. This is the third version that will show up on the About tab. But at the same time, being sensitive that their audience is very fundamentally open source and open-minded and doesn't want to share information, very privacy-minded. It's an intricate dance. This could still blow back on them, but it looks like they're trying to do it right.
And we all know how that always turns out. TechCrunch reports Korea's Yellow Mobile has acquired 61 companies over the past year and has just picked up Singapore-based Gush Cloud. Gush Cloud is an influencer marketing platform in Southeast Asia, which means it pays people to tweet and vlog about stuff that other people want you to buy. Yellow says it plans to acquire 20 more marketing companies across Asia this year. An interesting note is that when Yellow Mobile acquires a company, it leaves the founders in charge and lets them continue to build the companies as if they were still independent.
It's like they're just becoming a huge incubator. And I guess they could share the technologies and discoveries without having to license, patents.
Well, this kind of seems to be the new general trend, though, with super large companies. Facebook has very much tried
with
to
Instagram,
to do this with Instagram and the chat program, and as well as the virtual reality program that is
Oculus, right? Yeah,
Oculus.
You almost forget that Oculus is owned by Facebook, right?
Yeah, because they're independent. It seems like what we are seeing is a backlash to some of the frustration that came out of like when Google would acquire companies back in the 5, 6, 7 years ago, and just kind of assimilate stuff into their own products as opposed to letting it stand on its own.
TechCrunch reports that the world's leading seller of virtual stickers messaging app Line, by the way, Taylor Swift has a new line out on there, is trying out a music service with some of its users in Thailand. Line Music is available in Thailand for iOS and Android and integrates into the chat app so you can share songs with your friends and post them to timelines. Music service costs the equivalent of about $2 a month, though the first month is free. Line has a YouTube-like TV service already, a payments platform, an Uber-like service in Japan, and makes most of its money on in-app purchases for games. So you're seeing this with WeChat as well. They're trying to diversify these messaging apps into being platforms, and some of them are being very successful at it.
Dude, chat as an OS is fascinating. Like just to be the place where everything lives. That is crazy. PC World reports that Pebble will start shipping its latest smartwatch next Wednesday, May 27th, and finish manufacturing all orders by the end of May. According to the project's Kickstarter page, by mid-June, every contributor should be able to track their shipment. Next week, Pebble will introduce new Android and iOS mobile apps that will only work with Pebble Time models.
I didn't get one. I should have, though. I now regret it. Oh, well. And hey, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you what. It's very, very curious to see where this company's going to go. With the rumors of where they are financially and everything.
Yeah, I'm not sure what to make of those rumors yet, which is why we haven't stuck that in headlines. It bubbled up on our News From You or on our subreddit. But yeah, it's hard to tell with financials like that.
Well, and also, and just one last note on it. I think we're still in an infancy for hardware startups. I think we just don't know what the world looks like for semi-mature, popular, yet you're going to hit a ceiling on how much these things cost to keep pace in a very, very evolving marketplace.
And is somebody going to come in and acquire them? Has someone tried to acquire them? Hey, if you're wondering who it was that was trying to buy Salesforce, and why wouldn't you be, CNBC reports that it was Microsoft the whole time, likely in a clever mask. People familiar with the situation said that Microsoft offered as much as $55 billion. Salesforce CEO Mark Benioff said not enough. He wanted reportally as much as $70 billion.
It was me, Salesforce. It was me all along.
Satya Nadella said, Benioff, I'm not giving you $70 billion. That's too much.
Even my immediate family bought it.
And I would have gotten it away with it if it wasn't for you wanting $70 billion. A couple of items from our subreddit at dailytechnewsshow.reddit.com, which if you are not participating in, your life is just slightly less good than it would be if you're in there, just think about it. If you were voting on a couple of stories and you could say, hey, I voted on that story. That story's in the lineup because of me. For instance, TV's Travis submitted the story on the subreddit today. It was our top vote getter. A consumerist article from a couple days ago reports that General Motors attorney Harry Lightsey told a public U.S. Copyright Office hearing that software in GM cars is licensed to the owner of the car. This is similar to claims we discussed regarding John Deere tractors earlier. The office is expected to issue a ruling in July about whether exemptions should be allowed. GM doesn't want exemptions. They say, no, we license that software and it's unsafe to let people meddle about with it. Unlike people meddling about with fixing their cars and their brakes themselves.
John Z776 posted the Ars Technica story that researchers from Cambridge University found an estimated 500 million Android phones do not completely wipe data when users choose the factory reset option, even if full disk encryption is on. The researchers were able to recover login credentials, text messages, email, and contacts from 21 phones running Android 2.3, 4.3. The findings are published in the research paper Security Analysis of Android Factory Resets.
Yeah, this apparently is because of a problem with the way flash drives store their data. And it's just kind of impossible to know where all the data is. So unless you just wipe the entire flash drive entirely of all data, and even then some people claim there's still ways to recover things, you can't be sure that you got all the data off of there. So right now, the recommendation is to destroy the hard drive if you really want to be sure, which is not an acceptable option for a lot of people looking to sell a phone.
No. Taking the old drill bit to your old trusty cell phone is not necessarily what people want to do.
It will reduce the resale value.
Yeah.
That is fair to say.
I mean, and listen, if you're into destroying things, it's a feature, not a bug.
There you go. You have to do it. And that's a look at the headlines. We got a couple of interesting stories. And one we talked about yesterday on the show, Google Tone. That is where I can have a URL. Let me put dailytechnewsshow.com. I guess I don't go there very often. Oh, wait, there it is. I can have a tone broadcast from Chrome, like this, that if you have this Google Tone extension on your browser, it will ask you if you want to open the URL that is encoded in that tone. And I was impressed by that because it's not using Bluetooth or Wi-Fi or anything. It's just audio. And then we saw an article today that Philips is now testing visible light communication in Carrefour hypermarket in Lille, France. That is a 7,800 metric square feet, 7,800 meters square meter, 7,800 square meter hypermarket. It's basically a big supermarket, which you can imagine. It's really, really hard to find the Nutella in unless you go there a lot. What this app does that works with the LEDs is tell you where everything is based on the lights. So again, not using Bluetooth, not using any kind of wireless. Each light is sending in a wavelength that you can't see, a coded message about where that light is. And so any smartphone with a camera can interpret that and say, oh, okay, so we know you're here in the store and we have a map of where everything else is, and puts markers down to let you know where the Nutella and the baguettes and everything else is.
So here's my question. These are very clever technologies. I don't know exactly how useful they will be beyond just a fun, a tickle for us tech nerds to understand that this wizardry is possible. But is this us straining against Bluetooth's limitations? Like, I think Bluetooth has kind of always been the way, like, it is the catch-all of, we want to do something amazing. Bluetooth, like we'll make it Bluetooth. They'll connect to other things via Bluetooth. And yet it has not kind of evolved to the final form that we really, really want. Is this just us getting impatient with the ever, it is strengthening, it is getting better, but it's not there.
Yeah, I mean, Bluetooth Low Energy is the system that everybody talks about, and Beacon as the implementation that everybody talks about. But there are two things. One is power use. When
Yes.
you're using Bluetooth Low Energy, even though it's low energy, you still have to have a battery with it. And those batteries are only going to last so long. Some people say they only last 6 months. Some people say they can last up to 2 years in these sensors. But similar systems to this, you have to have, for instance, you have to have 32 Bluetooth Low Energy beacons in a typical Walmart, which is about 102,000 square feet. And then you have to maintain those. And the LED lights don't have to be maintained other than being replaced, but you'd have to replace lights anyway. They're providing light to the store, right? They're not in addition to the lights. So they're lighting the store. They're saving apparently about 50% off the power bill. And here's the other thing. Bluetooth can be a two-way communication, which a lot of people don't want. They're like, I don't want to share any information. The LED lights are one way. They're not receiving anything back. And so they're just telling you, here's where you are, like an internal GPS.
So, beyond this, I mean, can you think of any other fun implementations that you could do with a system like this beyond, the supermarket? I kind of feel like whenever we test these kinds of technology,
I think big supermarkets just tried to step on Justin and stop him from having his opinion, because we lost you there for a second, buddy.
So I'm saying, can you think of any other creative uses for this kind of technology?
Well, because I love the supermarket one. I'm not sure what you were about to say, because you were like, because supermarkets.
Oh, no, I'm just saying that whenever you see this kinds of technology, including with Beacon, it's always retail. And I don't know whether or not it's just what we think, okay, well, this will be in use because people will make money on it, and that's generally why people do things, is because of money. But I don't think it's the most creative or interesting solutions for these obviously functioning and interesting technologies.
I was talking with my sister when we were back in Illinois, because we were at a Schnucks that she doesn't normally go to, and they had moved things since the last time she had been there. This kind of stuff is an important problem, I think, for a lot of people, which is like, where are the tortillas now? And if I was looking at the demonstration video that Phillips had, I was like, and if you could map it, if you could say, here's my shopping list, put pins for everything I need, so I know where it is, and then make the most efficient map so I can get in and get out. Tell me which lane is now open when I'm coming up. There's all kinds of things you could do. But yeah, you're right. There are other kinds of internal mapping that this would be good for, like huge train stations. I'm thinking of the big train station up in Montreal that's like a sprawling underground complex and then connects to these underground malls in the rest of the city that you could map around in. I can't think right now off the top of my head of anything else outside of that. Maybe guiding you to a seat in an auditorium. All of it's indoor mapping, though, for me.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's really not a bad idea, though. If you look at, you're going to a Sharks game in San Jose and you're unfamiliar with the HP Pavilion Center, the idea that you can just walk into any concourse and, based on the lights, know exactly where your seat is and the fastest way to get there, and whether or not you can get popcorn on the way is a really interesting idea.
Well, and bringing this back to Google Tone, I think what fascinated me about both of these stories is we're not taking advantage of networking and all of the concomitant power usage and security issues that it has. In both these cases, it's real low tech, light and audio. And I don't think companies do that enough, where they say, well, we've over-engineered it. We're trying to use Wi-Fi for everything. Maybe because it's a simple message that needs to be sent, we can use a simpler kind of technology.
I find this to be far more interesting, Google Tone, than when Samsung tried to convince us that everybody should be slapping their phones together in a high five to exchange files.
Yeah.
Like this is way cooler to me. The idea that just leverage the fairly plentiful, very fast mobile bandwidth that we already have available, and the fact that our phones make noise and are constantly listening for sound. Awesome.
Yeah, and this is only for desktop as far as I can tell right now, but as soon as they have a mobile OS implementation of this, I'm pulling out my Android tablet, and I'm going to be sharing links back and forth. I actually use it here because I have two computers, and sometimes I'll have a link on one, and I'll have to figure out what's the best way to get it to the other computer. And that's why the Google engineers did this, is they were trying to figure out the same thing when they had two computers side by side. But mobile is the big advantage of that. I hope that we see more of this kind of diversification of communication. taking into account that if you're using Google Tone, anybody in earshot is going to be able to hear that URL. So don't be serving sensitive URLs across there. This is just for links that you would be sending out to anybody anyway.
Don't be sharing the spreadsheets with everybody's adult friend finder information, for example.
And the one thing I discovered when digging into this visible light communication story from Philips, they introduced this February 18th, 2014 at Euroshop in Dusseldorf. Now there's a conference. And this is the first big actual test where people can use it in public in Lille, France, but they've been developing it for a while. There's an ongoing war between Bluetooth Low Energy and visible light communication, and about the benefits and detractions of each. In fact, there's a company that's called Byte Light, which uses visible light communication for the mapping, but then it also incorporates Bluetooth Low Energy so they can get some of that two-way communication, because that's the one thing that the LED light thing can't do. It can't read things from the consumers, and the consumers are fine with that. That's an advantage to me, right? But if you're a retailer, that means you're collecting less information.
Well, it's going to be a feature for consumers until consumers get a benefit from it. You know, no consumer is just going to raise their hand and say like, "Oh no, please data mine me. I love it. It's so fun." Like if there is an interesting kickback to that, if my life is made easier by the fact that there is data mining, which I think we all believe will be the future. You know, we already live better lives based on giving information without our explicit consent every single time now. You know, it makes our lives more convenient. It would stand to reason that these become wider, more rich, ways to do that. But right now, no. I would rather just, take a look at the lights and see where the Nutella is.
And you can still collect information off people through the app, right? And that's a lot safer than, if somebody's like, look, I don't want to have Bluetooth on because I want to be extra safe and make sure nobody can sniff my Bluetooth. They don't have to if they want to use this. Do you think we could convince Patrick to drive the 2 hours to Lille, France to go shopping, to go grocery shopping and try this out?
Do French people drive? Or
That's
do they
a good
just, they just order in restaurants and make witty quips?
I think they actually are propelled by their own superiority.
they are. They just all
Patrick.
they do is sit around and remind Americans that they bought the Statue of Liberty for us.
Right. Let's move on to the pick of the day. Dash to Justice was listening to Veronica on Monday, wishing that the Apple Watch could work on its own without having to be tethered to her phone, and has an alternative: the Rufus Cuff, a smartwatch that has a 3-inch screen and can either be tethered to your phone or can run on its own, because it runs full Android KitKat with support for future OS updates. So it can run on its own, but think about all the cool wrist computers like, I don't know, maybe the Pip-Boy, says Dash to Justice. I looked this up because I'm like, okay, how good is this thing? I get the benefit of being able to use a smartphone for heavier computing, but also stand on its own. And Gadget wrote, connects to your Android or iPhone by Bluetooth for mobile data, making calls and sending texts, but running a full version of Android, and can hook onto Wi-Fi if you're in a cellular dead zone. And they gave it 4.5 stars. It more than doubled its Indiegogo funding, so people definitely wanted it. I had not heard of the Rufus Cuff. Thank you for the pick, Dash to Justice.
Yeah, that sounds really, really rad. I'm excited to give my Apple Watch review that nobody cares about because it's 3 months late. As soon as I get my hands on it tonight,
it's not even a month. Just it'll be a month to on Sunday.
It feels like a million years.
You're not upset about it though, I know.
I'm not.
Send your picks to feedback at dailytechnewsshow.com. You can find my picks at dailytechnewsshow.com/picks. Few emails here before we go. Bill Burlingame down in Huntsville, Alabama, sent us another nice note. He enjoyed the discussion we had with Allison yesterday about social media and technology. We mentioned the telephone as sort of an analog of people being upset that a technology might, ruin social interaction. Bill says the introduction of the telephone, I'm 79. Remember when many people didn't have a phone? My mother would often send me to the neighbors to tell them someone had to call our house for them. I remember the family sitting around listening to the radio. In 1960, my wife and I moved 2,000 miles from home. Long-distance calls were expensive and only used for emergencies. We had a stretch of 5 years without being able to visit family and friends. Now I have a daughter who lives in Seattle, a granddaughter who lives in Colorado Springs with 3 of her own children, and we Skype with them several times a week. I've been able to reestablish relationships with high school and college classmates with Facebook. Although I don't understand why kids will text each other when standing next to one another, I do prefer the technology we have available today.
They text each other while standing next to each other, so they can say mean things about the other person that's standing next to each other.
Usually in a crowd of two,
Yeah.
more than two. Yeah. Anthony from Finally Thawed, Maine, wrote and said on Wednesday, Lamar was talking about his disappointment in ad block, and I understand that it is tough as a creator to see a revenue source blocked by the user, but there has to be a reason they are choosing to do this. Advertisements on the web are annoying to me, and while I want the creators I love to get paid, I want them to get paid because I am enjoying content, not because I'm annoyed. I run adblock on my machine and would on my phone with no reservation because I support the content I want to support on my own accord. Didn't make me a freeloading jerk, he writes. I think that's the thing is a lot of people. It's a problem with ad targeting, right? If the ads were all ads you wanted to see, you wouldn't mind. That's always been I say that a lot because we like to watch trailers. We go and seek out trailers. They're ads. That's all they are. But we don't think of them that way because we want to see them. So it's a problem in what you're being delivered, I think.
Well, at the same time, if we're looking to avoid annoyance, ad block, and we talked about this, up in the headlines, that Gush Cloud doesn't exist to pay people to talk about this stuff. If ad block and the similar idea of skipping ads via the web is not as pervasive as it is.
Yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying. Like if people weren't blocking ads, then they wouldn't have to try to get around ads by asking people to talk about it.
On one hand,
maybe. I think it still would exist, though.
Well, sure. I just mean that this is why these companies are selling for what they do. This is what the future of advertising is. So if the idea is you are blocking annoyance, we're just going to move the annoyance into the mouths of everybody. And now, Lady Gaga is going to, do a South by Southwest set by Doritos and Dr. Pepper, as opposed to just doing it for, the album.
Block that, which is wearing a Dorito dress. You're not going to be able to block it. You're just going to have to look at it.
Yeah, and you have no choice.
Yeah. Do you think she'd wear Cool Ranch or original?
I think, I don't know. Probably Cool Ranch halfway through.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. And then Ted from lovingly academic Ann Arbor, Michigan, was listening with interest to our discussion of the very bad practice of security questions, the sort of like, what was your first pet? Where were you born? All that kind of thing. His wife and him have developed a workaround. I'll give it to you in brief, but he also called and left a message. He said he got cut off before he was finished, but there's still enough good stuff in there, and it is fairly long, that I'll put it at the end of the audio episode. Here are the rules for Ted's system. 1, make up a secret phrase which will apply to all answers. Call it, for instance, our personal phrase. And number 2, examine each security question, and for each one, determine the subject of the question. And then the answer to that question will be our personal phrase, subject. He gives the example security question, what is your favorite touring car? And their answer is loves summer with 2 L's. That's their phrase, car, because car is the subject of the sentence.
This is brilliant. I'm always looking for ways in which I can come up with random secure passwords or, in this case, the questions in ways that are sticky to my brain, and I won't find myself not remembering, which is something that you have to do this day and age. With how many passwords we have to constantly be making up and remembering.
Yeah, and I don't pass along Ted's system because I think security questions are good. I agree with Google. I think there are much better ways to do protection. In fact, the FIDO Alliance announced 61 new products that will get rid of passwords and still remain secure today. So hopefully that becomes a trend. However, in the meantime, there's still a security act questions out there that you have to answer. In some cases, they won't even let you create an account without it. So here's a system you might be willing to try. Thank you, Justin Robert Young. Twitter.com/Justin R. Young to follow what Justin is up to, and getting closer and closer to the ultimate episode of the Jury More podcast.
Yeah. I don't know if it's official, but it's highly likely that we're targeting Saturday afternoon for the big thing.
I actually know this now that you mention it because they asked us if it was okay to have Sword and Laser in the same room beforehand, and we're like, okay, that's awesome because we wouldn't have to move rooms.
Yeah, and this is way inside sauce, but
Yeah.
in trying to figure this out, I was like, no, you want to know what? Like, I kind of feel like having Sword and Laser there would be really good because that way we could actually like do prep. We could actually have like an hour prep, and really all that would have to change is you guys have to get dressed for the wedding before Sword and Laser.
Now, if you're like, what is it that you people are talking about? The Jury More podcast is Justin Robert Young and his fiancée talking about the preparations of their wedding, and the final episode will be at DragonCon in Atlanta in September.
Indeed, and it'll be a great time. All are welcome. It will be a real hootenanny. In the meantime, you can follow our progress at jurymore.com, the Jury podcast as well, and Night Attack. Always having a good time.
Oh, Night Attack. Meanwhile, Len Peralta has been busy working and drawing.
Always.
And what have you come up with, Len Peralta?
Well, I wanted to sort of do a mashup of two of the big stories of the day. One is, of course, Pac-Man's 35th birthday, but also the tone and the Google sound and stuff like that. The Philips lighting going that's helping people get around to different places, and this is the downside. This is the bad stuff, right? The Philips lighting will drive Paku Paku insane.
Yeah, because he doesn't want the ghosts to know where he is, and now they will.
Now they will.
Too.
Well, I just thought there was something interesting about this was you can navigate with this information, just like Pac-Man through a maze.
Yeah.
And it's
I
just
like
gonna
that he
drive
has a
him crazy.
birthday hat on, by the way, while he's being
cute.
driven insane.
It is cute. It is really
It's
cute.
his birthday. He can go insane if he wants to.
That's right.
Looks, this is remarkable. Everybody, if you are only listening on audio, Len, where can people find this? Because everyone needs to see the crazed look in Paku Paku's eyes.
Absolutely. They can actually go to my online store, lenperaltastore.com. It's up there right now. It's and that's the other thing too. If you want to get each one of these images that I do on a weekly basis with Tom, you can go over to my Patreon page at patreon.com/Len. You back the DTNS lover level, and you will get each one of these as a high-res digital print. It's wonderful.
Len, I don't know if you realize it, but you've actually captured the same look of fear that I have when I think about my future.
I think that's true. That's I've seen this face before.
That is great, and then that's actually my face when I think about my past. So this is a real tour de force here. So everybody go support Len, because otherwise he's just going to be doing fan drawings of J.R. Smith on a Majestic horse.
I'm going to get my hair cut just like him. I'm going to get tatted up just like him. It's going to be great.
Like we said, check it out, lenperaltastore.com. Thank you, folks, for supporting the show. We work on your value. Sometimes I like to explain it as, instead of advertising, ad-supported, which I do other shows that are ad-supported. Ad-supported means you're relying on somebody else responding to the ad and spending money, because nobody buys ads if nobody doesn't spend any money on that product. So if you're watching a show and it has ads, you're hoping that someone else is going to support that show by sending ads. With our show, we cut out the middleman. You instead of you having to go buy a product that then some of the money goes to the maker of that product, you can give it straight to us. It lowers the cost for everybody and makes the show independent and amazing. So thank you to everybody who does that, whether it's on Patreon or PayPal or the dailytechnewsshow.com store. dailytechnewsshow.com/support tells you all the ways that you can support the show. And even if it's just telling folks about it, we are intensely appreciative.
I'll tell you what, but before we wrap up, this is something that there's a daily, obviously this is a daily show. You guys get this message a lot, and it powers the entire program and the franchise, bringing me and now all of our full complement of associates. But this is a really uniquely internet success story, and I think you should get on board with this if you even, like the guy said, want to just support what you want to support without being as annoyed as you would be if there was a random Squarespace ad in the middle of all this news.
Our email address is feedback@dailytechnewsshow.com. You can give us a call, 512-59-DAILY. Listen to the show live at alphageekradio.com, 4:30 p.m. Eastern, 1:30 p.m. Pacific, Monday through Friday. And visit our website, dailytechnewsshow.com. We will be back on Monday. It's headlines only because of Memorial Day, and then Tuesday, regular show. Talk to you then.
This show is part of the Frog Pants Network. Get more at frogpants.com.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.
Boom, 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 boom.
Pow.
So we get the day off? That's awesome.
Yeah, it's on the calendar.
Is it? I'm confused. Okay, I should tell Veronica.
Well, the calendar I'm looking at says headlines only show.
Oh, weird. Did I just make up? I'm probably doing that thing where I'm a month ahead. Yep.
Oh, you look at the wrong page of the calendar.
Yep. That's how I do.
You're
that's
just so
today's error.
forward thinking,
Yeah, I book a month ahead now. It's pretty awesome.
right? You're living in the future that I fear.
Oh,
How is
no.
it? Is it okay?
Wait,
Maybe I
hold
shouldn't
on.
be afraid.
Hold on. I think the headlines only show is the 2500th show or some odd.
Well, is it though? I mean, it's not really that. I know
It's an
people are like, "Oh, it's the
approximate
2500th show." That number was Darren Kitchen's joke, which I thought was hilarious, which is like take all the Buzz Out Loud shows up to your last one, add it to all the TNTs up to your last one, and then make that next number your first episode number on DTNS, which is what I did. I wasn't on every one of those Buzz Out Louds or even every one of those Tech News Todays, so it's not even an accurate, like, all of the shows I've done to the point where you could say it's my 2500th show. It's close enough. It gives you a general sense, but...
All right.
Can I take a moment just to say that this image that Tom Gossa did is freaking amazing?
Oh, yeah, I
nice.
saw that.
You know, he even
What happened?
Oh, this is great. Here, I'll put it in the chat room. It's amazing.
he even drew the little thing that I wear in my hand when I'm drawing. It's just fantastic.
I didn't notice that. That's detail, man.
No, it's so great. I had to blow it up just to take a look at it. But I love the fact that there's a little Tom on this monitor here, which is terrific.
Which is what you're drawing, right? Yeah.
Well, no, that's exact. It's funny because that's exactly. This is almost like minus the smoke and the dragons and stuff, obviously. But like, no, I have you up on the screen up here while I'm drawing. This is what it looks like.
Oh,
I don't have
it's the
a
Hangout
picture.
video.
I haven't seen this. Where is
Justin, I put it in the chat room, a link in the chat room. It's he tweeted it.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
it? Rich,
great.
wait, the Slack?
No.
the
The regular
the IRC chat
Here,
room.
Justin.
Yeah, I'm not on the chat.
Ah!
Oh, I don't have the thing yet.
See, if you did, though, that would have worked.
That would have been really fun.
I'll put it in Slack too.
All right, let me slack it up.
Slack it up. Slack it up. Hey, so someone sent me, I think, enough Bitcoins for a pizza.
Yeah, I got that too. That was awesome.
It's Bitcoin Pizza Day, but here's I have to confess, I thanked him, and I think it's so generous. I have no idea what to do next. I have
You click on that
Bitcoins.
link, and then you just have to follow the
You
rules.
just tell Domino's you're paying in Bitcoin. It's fine.
Oh.
Oh, I'll pay in Bitcoin. It's fine.
Because if I could figure out how to do this, it would solve dinner for tonight, but...
Tom said it was okay. Just say Tom. No last
Tell him
name.
Tom sent you.
Tom said I can pay in Bitcoin. It's totally
all
fine.
right. Isn't that incredible?
Yeah, it's great.
Look at that art.
It's funny because people don't usually draw me, so I'm really I'm flattered by that. And
Who draws the drawer?
Nobody does. I don't even draw the drawer. I don't even end up on these things.
Oh, holy crap.
It's good.
Isn't that great?
Yeah, it's really, really good.
Yeah, dude, Tondagasa. He's a rad dude.
He's the man. He's the man.
I've actually hung out with him before.
That's
This is
Tom
great.
Nagasa. He's a right said Fred.
All right, I'm going
like
to start
once-
my weekend.
Yay!
Yay! Enjoy.
Yeah, got the game tonight, so that's the one way to start it. And then everybody else is leaving to go see Mad Max.
And then
All
you're
my
just going
kids.
to be at home alone and soaking in the quiet.
No, my one son is going to be sitting watching it.
Oh,
The
okay.
rest of the two older boys are leaving to go see Mad Max this morning. Tonight.
So does the whole family have Cavs fever or how many?
it's mostly my son and I. Although my older sons will sit and watch, and Nora will watch too. Now that they're in the Eastern Conference Finals, she wasn't happy that the TV was taken up during the regular season, but she got used to it.
Yeah.
And then,
And then once they were like, oh, they might win. Okay.
yeah. So she actually,
Now it's worth it.
Yeah, she can talk intelligently about what's going on and
Nice.
the players and everything else. I'm excited. We need to have you mentioned J.R. Smith. We need to have another game. Like he needs to have another game like that.
I mean, Len, and I know that you are one to seize upon opportunities. If you just did drawings of J.R. Smith on various majestic horses, like once per game, you would get attention for it, and you would sell 1 million of them.
You know, it's funny because I didn't even think about J.R. I ended up drawing Shump because I drew his haircut with like and the skyline of Cleveland is coming out of the top of his head.
No, JR is the one who has the internet's attention.
Yeah,
always,
that's good.
because he's so. You should make the Game of Thrones J.R. Smith crest, and his motto should be "You want to pipe?" Question mark. That's his house motto.
Oh my gosh.
His house motto.
I gotta do. Oh my gosh. Well, you know what though? Paul Pierce kind of took the Game of Thrones thing. I love the idea of drawing J.R. Smith just on horses and stuff.
Dude, I feel like if you did it, it would be on like it just. As many as you can think of, and it would just be a Cleveland artist draws, J.R. Smith on a horse over and over again every day. It would be on
a horse a day.
A horse a day.
until they win the finals. That'd be
for every game from here on out until they win the finals. There will be a picture of J.R. Smith on a majestic horse.
Yeah, I'm down with that. I actually can do that during the game tonight, and if they win, I'll just post it. I'll be like, yeah, man,
brilliant.
J.R. Smith. I love it. I love it.
No, you should have it be as long as he gets over a certain point total.
Oh.
Or just as long as the Cavs are in it every game, you will do that.
Yeah, I love the fact that as long as they're in it, I'll draw J.R. Smith on a horse, a majestic horse.
A majestic horse. Like,
Absolutely.
It's not some nag, man.
No,
like
that's a majestic horse.
Would he be like? Would you see it sort of like the Old Spice guy, like where he's just like sitting there without a shirt on?
Why choose, man? You got a lot of games to go. Like,
yeah.
This is, In fact, I feel like you should just go back from the beginning of the playoffs and just for each game, you should represent how he played based on the horse that he has.
Oh yeah. Oh well, geez, he punched Jay Crowder in the face and got suspended for 2 games. So
that would be a battle. That would be a battling horse right there.
I love it. I don't know. I drew Shump. I'll have to draw J.R. Smith. I'm doing that tonight during the game.
He's too ridiculous, and like he's actually going out of his mind right now. And also, it doesn't matter whether or not he shoots his way out of shoots the Cavs out of the playoffs. He'll always be entertaining.
Well, you know what? He's entertaining in a different way here in Cleveland.
Well, yeah. I mean, like he's not stinking in the playoffs because he's trying to bang Rihanna entertaining like he was in New York.
I have a feeling that if I did that and posted to Instagram, that it would garner a lot of attention.
I feel like this ends with you framing a massive mural-sized version of it in J.R. Smith.
No, how it ends. It ends with me hanging out with J.R. Smith at some Mexican place here in town or something.
You hanging out with J.R. Smith might be the most entertaining buddy cop.
On a horse.
I've ever seen.
He comes in riding on a horse. Yeah, that'd be great.
By the way, Light the Way to Tortillas is going to be the name of the show.
Nice.
Light the Way to Tortillas.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's
Thank you,
also gonna
Tinvec.
be the name of my dinner with J.R. Smith is.
Yes.
J.R. Smith,
now
Light
I'm
the
gonna
Way
go.
to Tortillas.
Dude, I want to buy a picture, and I have a tangentially aggressive relationship with Cleveland, with my lingering LeBron spurn.
Right.
hate as a Heat fan, but I would buy a picture of J.R. Smith on a majestic horse.
I will make that a reality this evening.
The more majestic, the better.
Oh man, I can't wait. This is going to be fun.
Yeah, no, I think everybody should just retweet it, and we need to get JR's attention. I feel like he would love it.
Yeah. Well, after the game tonight, watch your Twitter feed. I'll make sure to tag you.
Good stuff.
All right.
All right, guys. I'm glad the internet held up.
Yeah.
Yes.
We just had that one little glitch. Not a problem.
Fine.
It was all good.
And dude, we made a story about light bulbs, Carrie, for 5 minutes. I feel like that goes on our permanent record as broadcasters. Like that's an achievement.
Dude, I really am interested in that. Like, I am fascinated. Like, look, you could just use freaking light bulbs to send data. Just all these different ways to send data. Like, you can use music, you can use light bulbs. Fascinating.
I mean, here's the thing, Tom, is you're absolutely right, and it is fascinating, but you just did the entire segment, right? It's not that it's not interesting. It's like it's one sentence interesting. It's not 5 minutes, but we did it.
We did.
I was wondering how you were going to do that. So that's why I drew Pac-Man, because I'm like, how can you talk about light bulbs for 5 or 10 minutes? Maybe there was something I was missing. I was like,
no. It is a great story, but every once in a while, the more I've dived into this tech news game, man. Like every once in a while, like it's just Stretch Armstrong. You just got to figure out like the way to talk about something that may or may not deserve 5 minutes.
I mean, look, there's a format war. You've got Bluetooth Low Energy versus VLC. You've got
popcorn ready.
You've got a lot of money on the line, a lot of retail money on the line here.
You are a pro, Tom.
Has all the elements.
You made that story work,
dude. That's why you're a legend, Tommy.
All right, happy Memorial Day, everybody. Be watching.
All right, you too, Len. Thanks again, man.
On a horse.
Adios, guys. Peace out.
All right, and then there were two.
Wait, where'd they go?
Where's my post?
Oh, crap. I forgot to upload to archive.org. That's usually pretty quick, though.
Yeah.
I've almost got your post ready for you.
Where's my post?
I was about to say, oh, we're almost done. And then I realized that I had done that.
Well, the discussion of J.R. Smith on a horse, I guess.
Oh, my gosh. I hope he does that. That could be an internet sensation.
I know. I like the power of Justin's, internet mind. Fused with Len Peralta's art and what it could create. I think that would be amazing.
Yeah. Justin's got the sensibility of this is what is on the mind of the internet, right?
Yes.
So it's perfect. Just it's art direction, essentially.
Yeah. It's art direction.
Okay. Where you at, Link? There you are.
I'm with Zelda. Sorry.
The princess is in another... Oh, it's a different game. Different Nintendo game. Sorry. All right. All done with the SoundCloud side of things. Just waiting for the embed, and there it is.
You know what happened that was weird on Tell It Anyway, which is what Jamie Brand was writing it about? For some reason, all of my links that go into the MP3 converted to embeds. So not the archive.org embed, but for some reason, they all just converted to an embed for no reason. So I had to go back in and put a different kind of download link. Like I did copy off of archive.org, copy link address instead of going to the page itself and lifting the page link. It was a little scary.
Yeah,
it was really weird. So,
I don't know why it would do that.
Anyway, thanks for the nice guy. I know, it's just and it was only on some of them.
Yeah.
Really strange. So I was going to check old DTNSs, and then I was like, you know what? Someone would have written.
I am out of the post.
All right.
And I am out of the video. Reminder again, in case you've listened or watched all the way to the end here. Memorial Day, Monday, holiday in the United States. So headlines only for us. And then Tuesday, it's Patrick Beja, right?
Yeah.
I didn't want to say that without looking on the actual show. No, it's not.
It's not.
It's Patrick Norton. There
That's
will be a
right.
Patrick.
I did that. So many Patricks.
But Patrick Beja is traveling. I think he's in Russia that day.
Yeah.
So, all right. Talk to you later. Goodbye.